it's David with No Chaser and a new room, a new look. I mean, it's things may change up. I'm not gonna lie. There may be like just a slight less production value in the upcoming videos, just because I want to get them out there. I get tired of just like postponing or waiting just to set up lighting and just the room and just whatever. Just more importantly, just get them out there. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And so, with that being said, today's topic is going to be related to relapse again. I mean, it was just recently a part of my life, and I don't know. I'm talking about it so much, it's almost like it's Relapse Awareness Month. But, anyways, this is more about, I don't know, something to give you an idea for preventative measures. And it's not just about relapse, but it's about how lying affects recovery. It's lying. Now, lying is not good. It's not good for normal people to do it, but it's especially bad for people in recovery. And, when I was actively drinking and using and all that fun stuff, lying was just a secondary language I was fluent in. And, the thing is that, of course, there would be all the lies I would tell, just to protect the addiction, protect my drinking. I need to keep it with me and I need to keep doing it, so I just have to lie. In fact, I was lying so much that I almost kind of created this separate category. I was like, okay, there are the bad lies that are morally wrong. There's the lies about saying, I can't help you with this thing because I'm doing this, even though I wasn't. And then there's like the protective lies, like the lies I have to do. It was almost like trying to convince myself. I was like, these aren't immoral. I have to drink, so I have to tell these lies. They're still bad lies, but then there's these ones that I need to do. Crazy, right? And then the other thing is that lying seems to be like this sort of muscle that the more you flex it, the more you work it out, it just almost starts doing it instinctively. Like it just, your movement of that muscle just starts taking over. Like I wouldn't lie like strategically anymore, in a way to get away with what I wanted to. I would just start lying just cause became kind of insane. It was less of like a matter of like the need to lies and more so just like a mental tick. Like I would just, it would be something as benign and stupid as like someone was like, oh yeah, I saw this movie last night. Have you seen it before? And I'd be like, yes. And in my head, I'm like, why are we lying about this? And so obviously in the active use and drinking, it becomes a huge problem. And so it's obviously something you don't want to do anymore. And you don't want to do in general. But I know for me in recovery, it's specifically bad because it's kind of one of those things where a lot of people believe, and I believe myself, that, a relapse doesn't begin with a drink or a use. There's a lot of stuff that precedes it and a lot of stuff that may not actually be connected to the substance directly. Like, not just about being triggered by thoughts of it or thinking about drinking or the act itself. It could just be behaviors, specifically like lying, that start to build momentum towards a negative end. And like I kind of like this may seem like pretty obvious, like yes, lying is bad for your recovery, but like my theory about it kind of goes like this, where I think that lying, it creates this separate part of your mind. It's kind of like this new room that you've made in your mind where it's equipped to keep lies and to keep secrets. And so the more you put into that room, there can be an infinite amount. And so the more you start lying, the bigger it gets. And then the bigger it gets, the bigger lies and the bigger secrets you can fit in there. It starts making room, and then all of a sudden you may just like a little like white lie here and there just because, you didn't really want to do something. And by the way, I'm not saying that, anybody's expected to do 100% honesty, and maybe it would be nice, but I don't know. I think you'd have to have a weird life to be able to do that. But anyways, the more that you lie, it almost creates this separate self. Like it creates this separate part of you where you keep these things and you're no longer truly connected with people in reality because you have this separate thing and only you live in there and only you know what's in there. And the reason I feel that is so dangerous is because, I mean, when I think about it, drinking, being in active use is truly like living a lie. And I don't mean just living a lie as in you're like telling lots of lies or anything, or even that you're just, the facade that you keep up to keep drinking or using. I mean, that's all part of it, but you're just kind of living a lie even with yourself, because in your continuing to do it, you're just telling yourself either that you need it or that, it won't destroy you, or that it's just fine for now. And it's, again, that like lie that goes deeper within you. And then it almost, this is getting weird now, but in that part, it almost creates another room where it's the stuff that you're trying to keep from yourself. Like the lies and secrets you're even trying to keep from yourself in this crazy way. And the more that that happens, even if you're in recovery and things are going pretty well, telling these lies, especially about how you're doing, what you're doing with your time, like how you're feeling, which can be very difficult to talk about, but the more that that's done, it creates that separate room. And the bigger it gets, the more you can fit more like significant things, like the fact that you've been thinking about drinking a lot, or the fact that you've been really depressed and your thoughts are kind of going back to it, or the fact that you may just say you've been doing fine and you've been isolating yourself and depressed for multiple days, and you could call into work, or you drop some engagements you have, and then you start doing it more and more, and that room gets bigger to where it's big enough to go, hey, if we drink, we can fit that lie in here too. If we start using, we'll just put that in here, and I'll just keep that in my little secret lie box. And I mean, the thing is, truthfully, just having that box is so dangerous because it starts to take the value out of what you believe. It starts to take the value out of the words that you say to other and how you interact with other people. And like one kind of strange example I use for this is that if you think about it like in AA or NA meetings, if you were to move somewhere else and you move to a place that no one knew you, it was a completely different state or a different country or whatever, you could, if you wanted to, let's say you were just like a month sober or something, or 2 weeks, you could walk into that meeting and just say, I have 5 years sober. I have 10 years sober, 10 years clean. I guess depending how old you are, it'd be kind of weird if you were like 19 and said that you had 15 years sober. But anyways, I mean, just that thought, you could do that. But, one, just think about why wouldn't you do that? So one, it would be that, what's the point of that? Like, what's the point of having this thing? What you get, like accolades or sort of respect? Everybody's kind of supposed to be treated equally in these meetings, but there is a sense of, I don't know, integrity that you may have built when they think that you've been in recovery and sober for so long. And so you get to have that, and you get to have maybe this sort of like attention in a way. And like I said, this sort of respect thing that you want. And there's really, I mean, let's just say there's absolutely no consequences. Maybe someone can find you and find out, but let's say there's just no consequences to it, and you just keep that up and no one ever finds out. There's nothing that you ever have to like redo or retrain or keep. You just say that lie and you keep with it. I mean, it's, you don't want to lie to other people, but if you were to do this, you would kind of get away with it. But the whole point is that when I talk about losing value in the things that you believe or losing value in what you say to other people, at a certain point, it's like, why does it, if I have this respect and this connection or all these things with other people, why does it even matter? Like, other people, I'm lying so much to them that they don't really mean anything to me anymore. And then the beliefs are like these things that make me feel good about myself, like telling people that I've been 10 years sober. All of a sudden, if that's fake, then any other things that like make you feel better or important to you lose their significance, because it's just, what does it matter? Like, am I supposed to feel good about something I've actually done when there's this thing over here that I've lied about, and I feel good about it, like in the validation I get, but these are now almost kind of the same, except this one's a lie, but it makes the other one, the real thing, feel hollow too, because it's kind of the same sort of like reward you're getting from it, except about how you feel inside. And that's kind of the biggest difference. And so I think about lying going to relapse, you create that separate world, and you start to lose value in other things, and you start to lose value within yourself, because if all these things are lies or secrets, or they're ultimately hollow, they don't carry any substance to it. So in the end, it just kind of falls away. And then you need substantive things in your life to keep sober. You have to have things that are important to you, like, real reasons why you got to keep sober. And the more that your life is made up of lies, the more that it becomes a house of cards. It's like, then why do I care about anything? Like, these things aren't important to me anymore, because now I know, as much as I wish I didn't, now I know that they're not real. And if it's not real, then what is my life? And so, I don't know, that's this theory I have about I always just think of it as this separate you that you've now sort of created. Not even a separate reality, but just a separate you that keeps all these things. And the more you keep these things and these secrets, and, I mean, it's hard enough just to keep up with lies, trying to remember, who did I tell that to? How much did I tell them? Did I add this detail, or I got to keep up, or I forgot to keep up the lie? I mean, that's just stressful enough itself. It's like a part-time job, but it just, I know that it affects me a lot more, because I start to feel more alienated from other people, because I've been living fake. I've been living untruthfully. And so all the interactions and relationships start to lose their weight, because maybe they just know this fake me. It's not the real me. And like, now why do I care about this relationship if I've just been lying to them constantly? And especially, lying, like I said, it's a muscle that you flex, and it's just something that you really want it to atrophy, so it doesn't have as much strength. But when it builds up a lot of strength, it just gets easier to use. It's more convenient, and so you lie to get out of things, and it just becomes so habit forming in itself that the more you keep doing it, the more you block yourself from getting better, because you can always just take the easy out. I mean, there's a reason why people lie, even normal people, why anybody lies. Lies make life really easy a lot of times, where it's just you get to say this thing and someone believes it, and it gets you out of a scrape. It gets you out of some sort of commitment or some responsibility, something you don't want to do. I mean, again, there's reason why people lies, but why people lie. But in recovery, it becomes incredibly dangerous because, unlike with other people, our sort of bad habits have much dire consequences. When I start to slip and I fall back into things like depression or isolation, it could be bad for a normal person, but I have like that piano on the rope hanging above my head, or the anvil, or whatever they do in cartoons. I have that hanging over my head. And it's not just that I'll have a bad month, or I'll maybe, like, I don't know, hurt some relationships that I'll have to repair later. No, my life will go to shit if I let it get too far. Which, I mean, if I try to be positive, maybe there's, a silver lining to that. It forces me to actively try to be a better person. Not just because I want to be a better person, but because I need to. So anyways, thank you guys for all listening. Again, all the, private messages I've gotten, and all the comments and everything like that has just been awesome. I appreciate anybody watching this and listening to it. If you're still struggling with it and you just need someone to share the experience and to know the struggle intimately, I hope this provides you with that at the very least. And if you're still, like, if you're in recovery and you're, just keep going, hold strong. And if you're watching this just because you're interested in how some of this stuff works, hopefully I could give some insight into it. But other than that, I hope you have a good day and be well.